Hello all you beautiful people. We are doing some installs today, so we figured we would do two different trailer installs for you guys to teach you best methods, or how to think for yourself and pick the best method that's appropriate for the application. Over here, right up there, you can see the AP. Let me see if I can zoom in on that for you. So there it is right there. You can start to see it. So that is our access point right there. So that is the guy that's we're connecting to. So now if we zoom back out here, this is the trailer that we're installing at. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to be using our pipe method to get it on the tree here. Mount it on the tree, then we're tucking the cable in here, as you can see Thomas is doing. One of the best methods of hiding a cable is to use something that's existing there, rather than putting in holes or stapling, because you never staple on a trailer, ever. You'll shatter it. You can use black clippies, but if you can tuck it inside of something like this, not only does it hide it, but it means that the user can move the cable if they ever want to. Now, bringing the cable into the trailer here, she's not using the old coax, and as you can see, this has got a little bit of a mold to it. So we're simply going to pull this guy out and use the existing hole and then re-caulk it. For caulking, we're using a bismuth compound. It's actually a self-leveler, I believe is what a lot of them call it. It's not RTV, not silicone, it's self-leveler. Alright, so I'm going to go inside for a second here. I'm going to clean my boots, and I'm going to carefully check them, because don't be an asshole. I don't care if you're busy, you make sure that you respect other people's property. Otherwise, they will call you back charge you, and if you're in the United States, potentially sue you. So, there's where we're coming in. There's our little hole right there. As you can see, it's full of iron wool, because these are clever people. Keeps the mice out. Okay, so, let's head back outside and make up our mounting bracket. This video might be a lot quicker than we originally thought. So for the mounting bracket, we're using a little technique that I developed. I'll show you this. It's I'm gonna put back my camera bag here. All right. There we go. So first we need a radio. We need some black pipe. Cut a little piece of this off.
I just snip the slush instead of, I don't feel like getting a ladder and undoing that whole piece of cable.
You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm not.
You don't have to. I mean, you just cut it off enough that it's hidden in the siding, right? Alright, so I'm going to make this roughly big enough that we've got more than enough room for zippies.
What am I boring out?
Just give me a second, I'm just...
Because the hole's big enough. You just gotta get the...
You'll see what I'm doing. I'm making another pipe mount on the cam here. Alright, so now we've got our little cutoff here. I'm going to make sure that she's nice and clean. There we go. Don't want it to look like rat shit. There we go. Alright, and now we can make a couple holes in it, which we'll be putting screws through. For those of you that don't know, this is a conical step bit. This is a nice tungsten carbide one. They will run you 70 bucks. Alright, there's our two holes for the screws. The idea here. Gonna put on two zippies. We're going to reverse the directions of the heads here. I'll show you how to install this in just a minute. Essentially. Really handy for trailers. Okay, Thomas has gone and removed the cable. It's right here, so we're lucky. I think I'm just going to rerun it. I'm going to drill it back through, and that'll ensure that we go through nice and clean, because there is a bunch of iron wool in there, so. Here we go. Well, let's see if I can actually get in there on this wonderful angle that it looks like there's a tree in front of. We are not. We're going to have to do this from inside.
Probably safer so you don't drill a new hole anyway.
Yeah. There's iron wool inside as well, right? Don't be a cunt. Yep.
You got your bit that I can wrap the wire around and you can pull it through?
No, but you'll be able to push it through nice and easy. Take off your boots.
I guess you could just hold it and I could press it.
You don't even have to. Just straighten it out and just poke it right through gently. Don't smash it through. I'll show you. Alright. Let's put this down. I am actually going to very carefully move stuff out of the way here, because on our meager paychecks you don't want to have to be the one to replace things. So I'm just going to unplug these guys carefully. Let's bring this over like so. There we go. And we will now pull all this stuff out of the way. There we go. Now I should be able to focus, you bastard. There we go. Let's get that iron wool out of there first. There we go. I'm just going to follow the hole through carefully, feeling more than I am drilling. Alright, now if you straighten that cable out and you just gently push her through, you should be able to follow the hole. Almost there. There you go, buddy. First try. And just like that, our cable is through. See how easy that was? Now, we don't usually drill holes in trailers. We usually try to find openings, which you will see on the next trailer that we do here today. This is one that had a pre-existing hole. So this is great, because you get to learn how to do that. Let's go back outside now. And then Thomas will come in here and he'll get this crimped and prepped for the installation of the radios. And we can work on getting this thing mounted in the tree. Careful. Alright, so now we need to venture back to the truck. And we need to get our caulking. Which actually it looks like, no, did he? No, not yet. Okay, so we're gonna caulk that hole. Then we're gonna go over and we're gonna stick that little thing up in the tree. All right, you're good to go inside. I'm gonna get started out here and get the radio mounted on the tree if you want to get the crimps done. We are a well-ironed machine. All right, got a caulking. Don't make a mess of it. I should grab a rag. Remember, you don't want to be labeled as a ExploreNet or a belt installer, because those guys are terrible. You see, when you work for a company that treats you like hell, you tend not to do a good job. So for all the business owners out there, treat your employees well and they'll do a good job. All right, I can caulk this, right? All right, communications is also an important thing. All right, so if you see in this particular situation, we just came straight down here because it's hidden behind a tree, so it's not going to be too visible anyway. Notice we put an anchor there, just to keep it stationary because we want to make sure that we seal this well. Now, I would like to clean all that off to make it a good clean surface, but I'm gonna push that back in a second there. I'm gonna push it back in a second. I'm just getting the caulking on it. Okay, so let me show you this now. I'm really liking this new tripod, by the way. If I had to buy, here we go. So if you look here, I pulled it out a little bit so I can get some caulking in underneath it. I'm gonna actually take a little bit of this caulking and clean off the end of it because it's really gooey, as you can see. It's goobery. This is for trailers, right? So we're gonna make sure that there's no water on here. I'm gonna put a little bit in here first. There we go. Just like so. Now that I've got a little bit underneath, I can push that back in. That's gonna ensure that it's sealed up underneath. And I'm gonna get a little bit into the top here. I suck at caulking, folks. I'll get right in the hole. I'm just gonna go around and take off the excess. I got my rag ready. This stuff is extra goobery. I'm gonna take a finger that I haven't touched the caulking with yet. And I'm sure you guys have your own caulking techniques. By all means, share. That's what community is about. There, that looks beautiful. Okay, so now that's done. Let me just get the rest of this shit off my hands. Get it all over my fucking camera. Alright, now you're gonna wanna take the pressure off of this so that it doesn't leak everywhere. I'm gonna wipe the end off. This stuff doesn't really cure the same way as silicone, so you don't have to worry about wasting a tube. Alright, so that's that. Okay, so we got our keel run along here. Now we can get ready to mount the radio on the tree. Back to the beat up old truck. Alright. Now, got this. I'm gonna have to get a, there we go, that's what I want. I have to try to find a couple of screws for this now. Check my pockets first, and I usually come up with nothing. So, let's see what I got in the toolbox. Everybody's got to get in this box. What we got here? We're going to a tree, so we have some long screws. Of course, we're out of wood screws, so what else we got in here? Well, actually, now some wood screws there. That'll work well. Now, of course, we're aware that the tree will grow into the piece at some point. That's the nice thing about the way that we're mounting it. It comes off easily, and then you can remount it. So let's go over here and mount this thing now. You like looking at my feet? Look at my little feet. All right. So this is where we have decided that we're going to put the mount. I'm just going to place this down here. Screws here. I'm going to place my drill down so that it doesn't land up in the dirt. Let's reposition the camera now. All right. Okay, so here's the trick. I'm gonna put one screw on first. Let's put this here for a minute. I'm gonna use the longer screw. Don't worry, we're not going too deep into the bark here. We're going down to the first layer of bark underneath, so we're not exposing the tree's trunk. And if you did, you'd hurt it. So, first screw. There we go. Be sure not to use anything copper when you're working in a tree. Try to use stainless or anything that's already rusty and doesn't have any kind of pressure treat on it, because you can poison it. There we go. Put the zippies on here now. We'll see why in a second. There we go. It's nice and tight. And the zippies are held in place behind us, you can see. Crank her in just a little bit. There we go. Now we can tighten that up.
Yeah, I'm just going to go put a fitting on it, and then you can check it out.
Alright, so we're pointing straight at the radio now. We're at the AP. The AP is literally like about 100 meters that way, so it's not like it's going to be difficult. There we go, handy dandy scissors. Know how to use them. Alright, so this part's prepped. We're ready for the cable. Well, drill can go back. Now there are easier ways to streamline your workflow, of course, like carrying a small bucket with you with your crimpers and your ends and all that in it. But here I am learning you stuff, so I've got a camera in my hands. Now there's two standards for RJ45, in case you didn't know that. Well, there's a few, but there's two main standards. One of them is the, which is it, 568A and 568B. Those are the two, sorry. B is common, it's orange lead, and A is kind of a Cisco standard, and it was green first, which is typically what I'd like to use. Not yet, I'm just getting ready to crimp it. Can I grab a head?
Oh, yeah. I don't have the head on me.
Where are the heads?
In the front seat.
Front seat, that's what I knew you were going to say that. Alright. Let me grab a head.
Where are the cable bags?
The cable bags are tight against the shelf in the back there.
Cool.
By the way, anything you want to use for a container to keep your heads in, as long as it keeps them clean and dry, no one bats an eye. With these things, make sure that all the pins are in there, because sometimes you'll find one missing, and then you'll be cursing as you try to figure out why the hell it doesn't work. Okay, last step over here after we get this all programmed will be putting some clips on here to hold the cable to the tree properly. There's already a cable loop, like a service loop here. We tuck the service loops in underneath the trailer so that they're not in the way, and that you can get some more cable if you need it. So there'll be a service loop usually at this end or at that end. Alright, so let's crimp ahead. think I can stick this right here. Hope she got all wobbly on me. Here we go. Hi. I know I'm ugly. Call me what you want. So I like these guys. These are the pass-through ones with the blade on the end, but I don't use pass-through heads because I don't believe in pass-through heads. I think they're stupid. Plus, if you get water in the socket, you can have a short. So these guys actually have strippers and everything on them. So just give her a little strip. Don't leave your garbage on the ground unless you want to be called an asshole. Always put your garbage in your pocket. Throw it on the floor of the work truck when you get back in. That's your retribution to whoever you're working with. Alright, we're going to get rid of the plastic. We're actually using a house brand for this. Or no, sorry, this is Ubiquity Tough Cable, so Tough Cable L Pro. So I'm going to shave off what I don't need here first. Now this stuff here, it's difficult to get the head in. So usually you can squish the cable a little bit so it'll fit. So we're going to sort our cables here. Get them in the right order. I always keep the ground on this side that the lead pair is going to be on because that's usually where the stub is. So I'm doing green, white, green, green. I use the edge of my scissors, not the stripper part. White, green, green, white, orange, blue. There we go. I help straighten them out. I'm using my thumb to position, my thumb and forefinger, and then these two to straighten them again. Okay, so white, green, green, white, orange, blue, white, blue, orange. And then we're going to take the last pair here, white, brown, brown. Like so. Now that we've got them all laid out, I like to give them a little straighten twist. I pull out as I'm straightening them. And there's our pairs. There we go. Be careful because they'll jump around on you. It's good because I'm doing it on video, so I'm going to look like a fool. I'm going to snip off what I don't need and make sure it's flush. You get the feel of how long it needs to be, usually half a finger, if you got big fat fingers like me. And here we go. So we're going to make sure that these are in the right order. Just double check them before we put them in. Push the browns and the greens in, and now we're going to lay them down into the cable slots. We're going to push them in. Now, I'm OCD about this. I hope it's focused. When I push it in, first thing I do is I look at the pairs, white, green, green, white, orange, blue, orange, white, brown, brown, to make sure all the pins are there. Then I look in the top to make sure that I can see the cores of all the wires. And then double check, I look on the back to make sure that they're definitely all going to the end. Triple check it, and you won't have to redo it again. Oh, you don't use a cable tester. A lot of times I don't. That's why. So I'm going to actually wrap this. Like so. I'm going to wrap it all the way to the tip. This is a residential install, remember that, okay? This is more than suitable because this cable is probably going to have to be replaced in about 6 years anyway. Most of these cables leak at some point with rodents and stuff chewing on them. Alright, that is your connector. Try to get the black jacket up into this part here before you crimp it. Sometimes the cables are too fat to make it all the way in there. If that's the case, as long as it's butted up to the bottom, it's fine. Inside, it's good to have a little gap to keep water out anyway. So now that that part's done, let me pop you back on the ground. Yep. Only the best for you. Down on the ground. You dirty animal. There you go. Let's get our crimpers in here. Alright, here we go. And by the way, before you put these in, I like to get the tab a little bit of a tweak so that you know that it's going to click. Place it in. She's in there good. Okay? And be careful because you can rip the locking clips out of those if you're not careful. So I'm going to press this against the cable holder here. And that's all she wrote there. Now, I'm going to bring my cable and my black clippies out here and I'm going to bring it down now. Because this is in a resort, we want it to look really tidy. So I'm not going to put my service loop up here. Like I mentioned before, the service loop's either under the trailer at this end or under at that end. So let's go get some clips and get this part done now. And just so you know, buy 1,000 1/4-inch drive bits because you will lose tons of them. You put them in your pocket because you're switching bits, and then before you know it, your other half throws them out. Alright, so. Hey Thomas. I'm on to the clippies now, it's plugged in. Okay, cool. Where are the clippies? Okay, cool. So they're everywhere. All right, we got our made in China Sky brand black clippies. Let's tidy this cable up so she looks good while Thomas is in there programming the radio and the router. There's our fiber up there. Alright, so here we go. If I do it from this angle, you guys should be able to see what I'm doing. Just position the camera a little bit. There we go, that should be perfect. What we're going to do here is we're going to find little bits of bark that are shallowest, closest to the trunk. These are brass, so they will not hurt the tree. Remember, be careful, be mindful of what you're putting into your trees. There's the first one. I think I'll probably need about 4 for this. So, what if I can do it from this side so you guys can see it better? Try not to step on the plants over here. So I'm bringing her down along here. I'm going to mount this next one right here, I think. Cool. And I think the next one will go right about here. Just so you know, this is tungsten carbide, so that's literally just as good as any other bit. So if you're stuck, your impact has a nice bit that will work with these clips. All right, we're getting down here. Alright. Thanks to experience, Thomas has done an amazing job running the cable. I'll show you here down at the bottom now. We'll take a closer look at what you're going to see. Here we go. So if you look here, this is our drop loop. So that's the whole idea here. This allows expansion between the tree and the trailer, which, as you know, it's that close, it's not going to do anything. Pretend it's going to move a lot. This is in a spot where nobody's going to get to it. So this is going to be nice. It looks tidy. It's perfect. So that's going to look really nice there. All right, I'll just do a quick overview. So we got that there. It goes up under the siding and falls along. See our cabling going up into here. And we're shooting to our access point way over yonder. Coming along here underneath the siding there, so we didn't actually have to put any holes in the trailer, and we reused the hole that was pre-existing, and we put bismuth compound, white bismuth compound on there. Bismuth. Okay, so that one's done right there. Now, because I am the odd man out here, my job's done out here, and Thomas is on programming, by rights I need to start cleaning up. That's my job now. But I don't need to teach you about workplace etiquette. This is something that you should know already. And if you're a young buck and you don't think that's the case, get off your ass and show some initiative. All right, I'm gonna go inside for a second and just check with Thomas and see how things are going. And then I'll clean up my mess out here and we'll get ready to go to the next trailer. How goes it? All right. So as you can see, we have the existing cable there. We've got our 24 volt 1 amp PoE going to an air cube, which then goes back out to the radio outside. Now, when you're doing it this way, remember, you need to make sure that things are grounded well. So you need to use shielded cabling when you're jumping between the PoE and the air cube so that it carries from the cable outside to earth. But yeah, this is essentially the last step. We are now just programming and on to the next site. But this is not a programming video, no. This is just to show you guys one of many ways to cable a trailer. And yes, we plan to do some videos on cabling houses, but today we're in a resort, so we're going to do 2 different styles of trailers for you guys so you can see how to do them up. This is going to look really nice. You can see the fiber wire up there going through the trees. There's a nice belly in it. That's that. Alright, so that's how you do a clean job. If you don't do a clean job, I will find you and beat you. But while we're waiting for Thomas to finish the programming, let's follow this cable down here and I'll just show you a little something. So there's our AP. If you look, we did use trees as poles. We were careful about what species of trees we used because in our region in southern Ontario, we have the emerald ash borer, which is killing ash trees like you wouldn't believe. So most of the trees that we've used to anchor our lines are actually pine trees. Except for this little beech tree right here, which is perfectly healthy. So, got our cables going up here. Fiber and AP. They're buried down through here. And they're coming down to our termination point, which is a Powerbox Pro. So in here, open the sky up. Hopefully it's not full of buggies. You can see here, we got our fiber coming in. This is about the best we could come up with for a fiber termination over here without quote unquote breaking the economics of this particular project. So we've got our, this actually should be looped in there a little bit nicer than that. But the idea here is that the fiber carries the data back to the main fiber switch at the office, and then this box here has 48 volt in. We can manage this as an endpoint, use it for troubleshooting and throughput testing. And because it's got PoE out, we've got at least 4 ports that we can use for cameras and Wi-Fi APs. Power comes down here into the enclosure, where we have a cabinet type power supply mounted inside of the breaker panel here, which make sure that you follow your local electrical code, ANZ, NEC, CE, UL, whatever, for your region. So there you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed. On to the next install.